This right here is about misunderstandings, arguments, gossip, and general confusion amongst people, because hearsay is always confusing and just fucked up. Okay, generally fucked up, because I mean, once you tell somebody something, be it if you want it known or not, when it's repeated, is it ever really repeated in the proper way? Not so much. So this is my video to tell adults, or not even adults, anyone over the age of 12, to not gossip at all, because no one wants to deal with the after effects. Okay? Now, I've been thinking about frenemies, which is completely understandable, because there are a lot of people out there that are always out to get you, children. And most of the time, you're none the wiser, because, I don't know, for some reason, I think it has to do with the human ego. Unless you're like, you have like really low self-esteem and you just think everyone hates you. Most people, I find, seem to think that their shit don't stink, and they always think everyone loves them when they deal with them. Doesn't matter if it's a semi-stranger, somebody that you've known your whole life. You should never tell anyone everything about you. Never. At least not to me. I don't think there's as many people as I know, no one knows everything about me. They may think they know everything about me, but I would never ever disclose everything going on in here. So when a little bit of some things got to me, I mean, like, I've heard some things, and recently a friend of mine had to like basically handle a situation of hers, because there was some gossip and just some things going on, you know, birds chirping, some shit just got really twisted up in there, and she handled that shit right away, because that's what adults do. They don't let it keep going. Grown people stop that shit dead ass and nip it at the bud, cut it at the root, rip it out, fucking set it on fire. You handle that shit. Only children continue to go back and forth between middlemen, because most people, when you know somebody that y'all have mutual friends, I always call those the middlemen, because when you say something to somebody, they're gonna say it to somebody else, because that's just human nature to kind of want to say some dumb shit about somebody. And I know too many foreign people that don't speak English good enough to repeat what I have to say about somebody else in the proper fashion, or to really understand the goings on of everything that had taken place at said time. So while I was talking to this friend of mine about her little situation with this person who will remain nameless, I began to think about something that happened to me prior to this whole event, where there was a misunderstanding involving a thought to be close friend of mine and two people that we know. Now, she should have opted with, you know, my side first, but being sometimes when you're drunk or intoxicated, you tend to overreact to things, and I'm like, you know, so she just got really heated, and instead of like listening and investigating this whole situation, she really fucking bugged out on me. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, don't even worry about it, or y'all can just go ahead, handle that myself. Now later on, she apologized or whatever, but I'm like, what's the point? We're finished. This is dead. We can do something else, but everything else is pretty much dead, because you opted with these other bitches over me, who you generally don't really fuck with like that. But I don't care if you're drinking or not. I don't fucking. So I have a bit of an issue with drunk talkers, because drunk gossipers are the worst type of gossipers, because they talk about people from in here and never use their mind, and they'll never remember everything in exact detail, but everything will come out in a blazing fit of fury, and after the fact, when you bring it up to them, it always turns into, I ain't say that shit, I ain't mean that shit like that. Yes, you did. You meant that shit like that. Now, most people don't want to be talked about, which I always find funny because they're usually the people that talk about people the most. So when somebody says, please don't talk to me about somebody else, I mean, don't talk about me to somebody else, I kind of go, okay, because I generally don't want to talk about other people to other people because there's a bunch of extra shit going on in the world that can be talked about. So I'm like, okay, fine, don't talk about you, but don't talk about me because you've been talking about me, and if you weren't talking about me, we wouldn't be in this situation we're in right now, would we? And then they just kind of give you that look of what the fuck, and I'm like, yes, you blabbermouth, you've been talking about some other people. And it's like you gotta pull somebody's coattail to show them that they're being an asshole. So I say you can't confuse gossip with telling the truth, and some people confuse keeping it real and being honest with talking shit and bad mouthing people, and sometimes that is not the same thing, and you have to have real common sense to be able to differentiate between sarcasm, telling someone the truth when they have not been told about themselves, or just being a plain old bitch. And I am not a plain old bitch. I have yet to turn into a plain old bitch, but I will tell you when you're fucking up if you're fucking up. So there you go. You can get hit by the tornado, you can get hit by the hurricane, but me, I'm a cloudburst amid a gay storm. Why? Because cloudbursts appear out the blue. Sometimes you can see a hurricane, sometimes you could wage a tornado, but a cloudburst, that shit just appear out of nowhere, fuck up everything.